Welcome to Yamaha. We're going to have a look at some of the new Yamaha models in this video. Obviously started out at the R9. Now this already feels super racy. I like it a lot. Now of course, CP3 motor, you probably watched the MT09 MT review, the Tracer 9 review I've done in the past. I think that motor is the best motor in the world. And riding the XSR900 GP with the same engine, put it into this actual race bike sort of formula, I think it's going to be a winner. But let's have a look at some of the other models that Yamaha are releasing for 2025 and we'll go from there. Right, so this is the MT07 for 2025. Now this one has been updated with the YAMT system. It's the semi-automatic control system on this. And that's going to be really interesting for riders who maybe are in the A2 market and they're jumping in to a fresh bike. And the MT07, known as a bit of a hooligan, this is going to be the bike that they're going to look at. Of course, you might then look at the MT09, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. You can see that they've updated the styling quite heavily for 2025 here. And gone is the disgusting faceplate from last year, and they brought in an MT09 inspired look. And I really like it personally. In terms of the size and style, when I reviewed it previously for Bike Matters, I found it a little bit too small. So let me jump on it, and it's the first time I'm going to jump on this model to see if any of the tweaks and adjustments are any different. Now instantly as well, you can see this one is, in particular, a YAMT model, because there's no clutch lever. Always going to be a bit weird to get used to. But yeah, this actually feels quite a bit more impressive somehow. I'm not even sure that they've adjusted much, but it just feels like a good size. For reference, I'm 6'3", and usually I don't fit too well on smaller scale bikes, but this feels really nice. This feels like it could be quite impressive. The CP2 motor on this one, the parallel twin, has always been famous for being a bit of a hooligan. It revs up nicely, red line is at about just over 10,000 RPM, and it gets there so smoothly with all the power. So it'll be interesting to see how this one lands for 2025. I'm not sure of the exact price in pounds, but for euros they've put 7,999 euros. And that's keeping it nice and level for the very, very, very busy sort of middling market, especially on the naked bikes. Let's have a look at something else. Now you may have seen me on the launch of this XSR900, but this GP looks stunning, so nice. See a Randy Mamola on this one, inspired by him. Now over in the corner over there, well, just next door, is the new Tracer 9 and the GT and the GT Plus and the GT Plus YAMT. Let's see if I can jump on one. I mean, key to note on this model, they've updated the front, so they've got matrix lights. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see how these work, especially when you're riding at night. The screen here is now wider and bigger, and depending on the model you go for, you can have it electronically adjustable or just one hand adjusted on this one here. And that's very nice. Now, as a bit of background, my first ever proper motorcycle launch was a Tracer 9 GT, and I jumped on it and I absolutely loved it. There was some complaints from others with the windscreen, but I found it okay, but it did wobble about a lot. So this one seems like it will be a little bit sturdier, especially towards the base. The panniers are floating panniers. If you've got the GT Plus, then you get semi-active suspension like this one is. And then moving over, because this one has the screen on, you've got the new screen here with a kind of new theme, and this looks so good. In terms of the smartphone connectability, I think you've got a Garmin. If it's not Garmin, it's one of the other ones, where you can pair your phone to that with a subscription service, and then you get turn-by-turn navigation, and that's always handy if you are on a touring bike like this. As you can see, the new thumb gear, switch gears all here as well, and I personally really like the Tracer 9 GT in particular, especially the previous model that had the dual lights that kind of looked like the old guy from Up. Let's go and have a look at some scooters, because there's a new NMAX, and I think I might be riding one of them. And this is the new NMAX 125. So the base price on this one for the European market is 3,499 euros, but they've updated the look of it. I'm pretty sure they updated the engine a little bit as well. So peak power on this one's 9 kilowatts, which is about 8 brake horsepower, is it? It's not much, but you don't need much on an NMAX. Let's have a little sit. Yes, decent. VVA on this one as well, so variable valve actuation. So that means that when you get to the top end, it's not just revving its nuts off, because the cams can adjust, or valves can adjust, sorry. And from that, this is a really nice run-around scooter. In terms of commuting, getting about, this one will get to about 60, I believe, and then starts to peter up from there. But I've ridden one of these in the past and it was just so easy going, good fun to ride, have a lot of fun on these scooters. Now I will actually be riding this at the launch, so this is going to be in the Barcelona area that we're going to be riding this. I think it's about 80 kilometers for the day riding around, so it's going to be a lot of city riding. It's going to be maybe jumping out and going to some of the outskirts of Barcelona. But this is exactly the thing that you'd want if you're going to be spending a day in the city. Something easy to ride, controllable, it's going to be automatic, so this is going to be very nice. So subscribe and like to stay up to date with us and catch this review as soon as it comes out. Believe it's going to be in about 3 weeks time. Yeah. Just set your diaries. Are you going to set your diaries? Let me know in the comments if you are. Anyway, is there something else we should look at? The new Tenere 700. Right there. Now, I've ridden one of these at the Yamaha Adventure Experience Center. It wasn't, of course, the 2025 model, but it was a previous model. But the suspension on the World Raid version with the dual tanks just felt like you were riding on clouds. You could go over any bump and it would just soak it up. And I believe these are the same KYB forks. If not, it will be the exact same setup. And using this bike off-road, despite the fact that it is quite big and it is a bit bulky in a way, when you get this off-road, it's just so fun. It's the CP2 motor, and that parallel twin is so versatile because you see it on so much of the 2025 Yamaha range. You've got the MT07, you've got the XSR900, you know, you get the drill. But this is going to be a very interesting bike, and I think if you're an adventure rider, maybe a bit of a tour rider as well, this is something that you should certainly look at getting because it's going to do the job nicely. And also updated in the scooter world, whilst we're in this corner, it's the brand new TMAX Tech Max. I mean, these are fantastic scooters as well. They're kind of like upper market, you know. So now maxi scooters in the UK, unfortunately, aren't hugely popular, but that doesn't mean they're not good. It just means that people don't opt for the bigger scooters. They usually just stick to a 125, which will do the job. But this one has a little bit of a new style. I think the color is really nice on this as well. See the upside down forks in work. It's A2 compliant straight out of the box. It's got 35 kilowatts, so it's under that A2 limit. 15,699 euros as well. 562cc engine. I mean, this one is going to be something that if you are looking for a maxi scooter that's got all of the technology and is like basically the top of the premium scale, then this is one to look out for. Let's have a little wander through behind you and we'll have a look at the scooters that are electric. So before we get to the electric scooters, the Tricity, Tricity 125 and 300. Yeah, 300 there as well. Now, Jess just did a recent video on freewheelers, and she really rates these 125 and 300s because the freewheeler is easy to use. You can ride them on a car license for the 300 at least. And if you haven't seen that video, click up there and watch the freewheeler video and get in the comments to that video to let Jess know that you were sent her way. So, got some electric scooters here, the Neos, or the Neos. I saw this recently in the BSB finale at Brands Hatch, and that was quite interesting because it's used as a paddock scooter, and I think that's the perfect use for it. Really lightweight, zippy, easy to ride. So you get to the racetrack, get one of these out, and then you can just run around the paddock easily. Here's the trusty RayZR as well, and we reviewed that a couple of months ago. Great scooter, really nice and easy to ride. Pretty simplistic, but the price and the budget way that this is set up does the job without fuss. But they haven't updated that for this year. I was maybe hoping for a 250, but no. So we round off our little video with perhaps the star of the show for EICMA. Maybe for some, maybe not for others. Now this R9 kind of naturally comes in to replace the outgoing R1, but it's not the same at all. It's a new frame, it's a different engine, and this one is going to be the leading bike for the UK sports market. But other markets are still going to have the R1, and if you really want an R1, you can still get one for track use or just buy an old one. There's going to be no more 2025 R1, so this R9 comes in. So you could argue that this R9 is then going to be missing out because it's only got 115-ish brake horsepower. But that doesn't mean the bad thing. That means that it's going to be more usable on the road. If anything, of course, I'd love to ride an R1. I'd love to own an R1. But this is going to be more usable on a day-to-day basis. And knowing the CP3 motor with 115 brake, that's just going to be exploitable on the road without thinking that you're going to lose your license every opportunity. I think the way that this is set up, you've got an adjustable KYB rear preload adjuster. You've got some real in-depth preload and rebound compression settings here. So in terms of the setup of this bike, you're going to be able to really dial it in if you're going to maybe use it a little bit more aggressively on the road. I just sat on one at the start of the video as well, and for me at 6'3", it was actually pretty comfortable. I mean, of course, sitting on it at a show setting as opposed to on the road is going to be a little bit different. But this one, as a road bike for 2025, I think they've nailed it. I think Yamaha have got it pretty much bang on. They know that the motor's good. They've got a brand new chassis that's going to just take this bike to a new level, and it's going to be usable on the road, and all for a decent price. 13,499 euros. I think it's about the equivalent same price in pounds. So this is certainly one to watch out for. Is it the star of the show? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe, like the video, get on our social media for more EICMA content as well, because we've been running around here all day shooting content. So it'd be lovely for you to see it. But anyway, ciao. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.